There is a mistake people keep making when they talk about America. They treat it like other empires. Rome, Britain, China, Persia. They argue about whether America is declining, whether it is good or bad, whether it deserves its power. Broken Planet is not interested in that argument, because before you can understand what is happening now, you have to understand what kind of thing America actually is. And America is not just another empire. It is something new. Most civilizations emerge slowly, from tribe, from land, from blood, from myth, from long memory. They argue with their past. They layer meaning over centuries. They inherit stories they did not choose. America did not emerge like that. America was designed. Not in the sense of conspiracy, but in the sense of deliberate construction. A legal framework, an economic system, a set of abstract principles, all established before a people had time to become a culture. Designed by people making choices, not by history unfolding on its own. That distinction matters. In most civilizations, law comes late. It crystallizes custom. It formalizes conflict. It settles arguments that have already been fought. In America, law came first. The Constitution was not the product of centuries of negotiation with land and history. It was a founding document, a statement of intent, an abstraction placed ahead of living continuity. This is not a criticism. It is a description that choice brought clarity and it deferred the question of belonging. America did not inherit a world. It declared one. America did not have a shared ancestral myth tied to the land, a long religious settlement, a deep tribal memory binding people to place. What it did have was capitalism, not greed, capitalism, exchange, growth, mobility, opportunity, abstraction. This was the one thing people could agree on, so it went full throttle. Capitalism became the engine of expansion, the organization of society, the substitute for myth. It answered the question, why are we here together? Not with a story, but with a system. And it postponed the harder question. What do we owe one another when growth slows? There is another reality that must be named plainly. America was built on land that already belonged to others. This is not a moral aside. It is structurally important. Indigenous peoples had land-based cosmologies, deep mythic relationships to place, histories measured in centuries. These were not integrated, they were displaced. That override was not automatic, it was enforced. So America did not inherit the land stories. It inherited the land as resource. Civilizations usually form by negotiating with the meaning of a place. America formed by overwriting it. This abstract origin explains a great deal. It explains speed of growth, flexibility, innovation, mobility, scale. Without deep roots, America could move fast. Without inherited limits, it could expand aggressively. Without binding myth, it could reinvent itself repeatedly. This is why America became dominant so quickly. It was not burdened by memory. But abstraction has a cost. When a civilization is not rooted in land, blood, shared myth, long continuity, it struggles with restraint, meaning, acceptance of decline. Older civilizations understood loss. They had stories for it. America does not, because it was never meant to age. It was meant to function. And when a system is built to function, limits feel like malfunction rather than meaning. Broken Planet is not saying America is evil. America is uniquely guilty. America is doomed. This is not a moral critique. It is a structural diagnosis. America is the first civilization built primarily on law, contract, capital, abstraction, rather than myth, land, memory, inheritance. That makes it powerful and fragile in a very specific way. If you misunderstand what America is, you will misunderstand everything that is happening now. You will mistake anxiety for arrogance. You will mistake decline for failure. You will mistake abstraction for inevitability. And you will miss the deeper issue. Civilization built without roots experiences threat as existential, not historical. That is not psychology, it is structure. America is not just losing power, it is facing the limits of abstraction itself. And to understand what that means and why it matters to the entire world, we have to talk about something no civilization before this one ever faced. A world where power, once unleashed, cannot be put back. That is the next episode.